Hey, hello, folks. This is Stephen Dow with Realty World Dow and Associates. And as you know, 2021 is in the history books. And wow, what a year it was in real estate in Southern and Central Kentucky. Never seen anything like it. Been in the business since 2014. And this was an absolutely amazing year, folks. If somebody would have told me that we would have had the year that we had, I would have said, no, there's just no way. But we did. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Now, at first, we're going to focus just on December, and then I'm going to go into the big picture, okay? So in December, in the Somerset market, there were 39 companies that were active. They produced 276 transactions for $44,508,842 in sales. That is about where we've been the last couple months. So no real big change there. London had 37 companies that did transactions, and they did 286. So they did slightly more than Somerset. Now, this is starting to become a trend we're noticing. Somerset used to do more than London, but the last couple months, London's really been pushing, and they've been beating us. And they did $51,367,790 in sales. So, you know, a good, 15% more than the Somerset market. Now, just to make it clear, I always try to tell you, the Somerset market is Somerset, Russell Springs, Jamestown, Monticello, Whitley City, and Albany, Kentucky. The London market is London, Corbin, Williamsburg, McKee, Barberville, and Manchester, okay? So kind of give you an idea there. Now, Danville market, I noticed this, 60 companies were active. 60 companies. So they had a lot more companies represented there. They had 1.5 times the amount of companies that we have in Somerset and London, but they didn't have as big a piece of pie as some of the companies do in Somerset and London. So that tells me that we can expect in the Somerset and London markets for new companies to be moving in. And we're already seeing this happening in 2021. We're seeing a lot of new companies moving in, smaller companies, of course, but they've got an opportunity to grow just like everybody else. So we're going to see that happen in 2022. Total sales, 131. So that's very unusual that they had that much less transactions than in Somerset and London. They're usually not as many transactions as Somerset and London, but they usually, are a lot closer than, because they didn't do half of what we did in Somerset and London. But get this, their dollar amount beat Somerset. Yeah. So property, what I'm trying to tell you is, property in the Danville market goes for a lot more than we see around here, and even in London as well. They did $46,944,778, and that's counting both boards, because Danville still has its own board, and then most of the business actually though is sold on L bar like Somerset and London's. So their average sales price is far above what ours is, and ours is like $158,000. So just a tremendous opportunity there. So in the month of December, 693 transactions in the three markets, and the average for 2021, 915. So we're seeing the business come down as far as the number of transactions. The number of sales, 142,821,410, and a few months ago, we saw 200 million. So sales have dropped about 25%, a little over 25%. But for the main part, they're still really, really good. Because if you take 142 and you times that by 12, that would put us at a $1.7, $1.8 billion a year. And 2021 was 1.9. So even though it's come down, it's still far and above what we were seeing a year ago. Okay. 2021, absolutely phenomenal year. 11,297 transactions in all three markets. That's phenomenal. 1.9 billion, $1,964,434,300 in total sales, almost $2 billion. And that's up from about $1.5 billion in 2020. So, we saw a 25% increase, which any business owner can tell you a 25% increase in 1 year is a huge year. So very, very thankful for that. Now, Somerset had its own board of realtors at the beginning of 2021. And starting on August 15th, the Somerset board was disbanded and we joined the Lexington board, which I think was a great decision for us. I think that there's been an increase in business for all the companies pretty much since that time. But I may be wrong on that. But so I had to I told you that to tell you this. So I had to take the Somerset board and add up their numbers and then add up the numbers since we joined LBAR to get the Somerset numbers. And so I was really shocked when I added those two together because the total number of transactions totaled 5,105. Now, when I started, ladies and gentlemen, in 2014, we were seeing about 1,900 to 2,000 transactions a year. So that's 2.5 times what we were seeing back then. And 2014 is not really that long ago. It's just 8 years ago. So that's amazing to me that we saw that big of an increase. The 2014 in sales in the Somerset market was $263 million. This year, drum roll, $778,171,641. Just absolutely amazing. With an average sales price of $152. The average sales price in 2014, $108. So, I know I've been absolutely astonished at the way prices have rose by leaps and bounds. But here's why, if you're watching this and you're a buyer, here's why it's still okay to buy even though the price is high. Because you don't buy price. Who wouldn't buy $1 million house if you could get it for $400 a month? You buy payment. That's what you buy. Okay? It doesn't matter what the price is as long as your payment is where you need it to be and where you want it to be. Okay? And that's why the real estate market is still booming because the interest rates are still really low. And so even though the price is maybe more than what you would thought, your payment is where you want it to be. And that's where people live. People don't live off the price unless you're paying cash. And that's, few and far between people that do that. And so most people are paying off or are living off of their payments. And so the real estate market is still booming, even though the prices are high, because the interest rates are still low and you can get this great house at a great payment. And guys, I don't know how long that's going to last. So if you're on the fence and the only reason you're not buying is because prices are high and you're waiting for prices to come down, let me tell you something. If prices come down and the interest rate goes up, you will pay more per month for a house you paid less money for if you get it at a higher interest rate. Okay? So in other words, a $400,000 house at 2% interest or 3% interest is less of a payment than a $300,000 house at a 6% interest rate. Okay? That's what I'm telling you there. So it's always a good time to buy now. Okay? All right, let's see here. So in 2021, there was 5,105 transactions in the Somerset market, $778,171,641 sold. London, and 88 companies, by the way. 88 companies were involved in that. London had 90 companies involved, and they had 3,094 transactions. Okay. Now, why is there such a big difference between London and Somerset? Honestly, I do not know, but here's my theory on that. Okay. I know that in the Somerset market this year, we have been flooded with little small lots being sold. Okay. There's been, I don't know how many, but a lot of it. Now, not all 2,000, obviously, but quite a bit of that. And so that may very well be why there are so many more transactions. London market did 522,120,366. I remember when we opened over there in 2019, I think the market there was somewhere around the $350 million mark at that point. So there's been a considerable amount of growth over there as well. Their average sales price, and this was really shocking to me, because a good portion of the time, Somerset's average sales price is higher than London's. Okay, but that trend has been not been true the last little bit, and for the year it did not hold true either. The average sales price in London, $168,752. So quite a bit of difference there. All right, moving on to the Danville market. 144 companies, folks, in the Danville market for the whole year. That's tremendous to me. So Danville's, like I said earlier, is on 2 different boards, and so the main board, the Lexington board, 2,423 transactions. The Danville board itself, 675, for a total of 3,098, 4 more than in London. I thought that was really weird that they were that close together. And then also in money, they're close together as well in one aspect. The Lexington board for the 2,423 transactions, 518,632,640. And on the Danville board, another 145,418,609 for a grand total of $664,051,249 and an average sales price $214,045. So a house sitting in Somerset that would sell for $158 would sell in Danville for $214. Would sell in London for $168. That's amazing to me. That is amazing to me, and that's just a generality. That's not always the case, but it's a good indication of what's so. At Realty World, we had a great year. It was a record-breaking year for us as well. We did 575 transactions, which our goal was 500. We did $89 million, and our goal was 78. So we had a tremendous year. We're looking to do 675 transactions in 2022 and $110 million is our goal. So I think we'll reach that. It's been an amazing year. Are things slowing down? That's the main question. And I think, we do these shows every month on the first of the month. And I think looking at the numbers and the data, yeah, the market is slowing down some. But it's still greater than it was this time last year. Okay. And so is it going to pick back up? Because is it just slow right now because it's winter? Usually December is a really strong month. Is it just slow right now because it's the winter time and people are waiting till spring, which is always the worst mistake you can make. If you are thinking about putting your home on the market, do not wait till spring, because then the market gets flooded with everybody waiting till spring and your house gets lost in the shuffle. The houses that are on the market in January and February are the ones that sell first in March and April, and they sell for more money. So anytime there's less of something, it's worth more. There are less homes on the market in January and February. Put your home on the market now to get the biggest and best price. Okay. You're not going to get it if you wait until March and April. Okay. You say, well, see, I don't want to move in the winter. You're not going to move in the winter. Okay. Because if you list your house today and we got an accepted offer today, which is not going to happen on Sunday, we got to get it on the MLS for one thing. Okay. But if you list it today and sold today, it's going to be 45 days more likely before we ever close. We can negotiate for you time to get out. And so you're talking about sometime in March before you'd have to get out. So you're not going to have to move in the winter, even if you listed today. Okay. So keep that in mind, folks. If you're thinking about doing anything in real estate, now is the time. You're never going to get more money for your house than you're going to get right now. You're never going to get a better deal than you're going to get right now because the interest rates are low on your payment. So if you're wanting to buy, now's the time. If you're wanting to sell, now is the time. And who's the company to call? Realty World, Dow and Associates. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for a wonderful 2021. I'm looking forward to new, bigger and better things in 2022. And it's going to be an amazing thing just to sit back and watch and see what happens. Thank you so much. Happy New Year.